Good evening, everyone. Myself, Arshdeep Singh, Assistant Professor, Miriam Medical Institute of Nursing and Hospital, Abohar. Today, I am going to explain you about the topic, an important one, that is nutritional anemia. So, let's start with the topic. This is today's topic, that is nutritional anemia. So, I hope my voice is clear. So, let's start with the topic. So, first of all, is the a little bit introduction about what is nutritional anemia. So, uh, we can say that anemia is a disease or a condition in which the normal HP level of the uh, body is decreased to up to some extent that it can not be regarded as a in the normal range. So, for this situation or the condition, the body has to suffer from various types of conditions. Okay, so that is what we mean by the term nutritional anemia. Okay, so according to the content, let's see what nutritional anemia is. First of all, is the nutritional anemia occurs due to the deficiency of one or more nutrients in which the HP level in the blood is lower than normal, regardless of the cause of deficiency. Regardless of the cause, it may be any type of cause, like there is problem with the dietary intake of the iron, or any other type, like there is the presence of any other type of disease like malaria, or any other type, or any other type of condition, either infectious or non-infectious, or any other type. So uh, this disease can suffer mostly, this the cases are seen in the females who are in the reproductive age group, or the we can say that the young girls and the pregnant and lactating women, they are at the risk of having this condition or the disease. And secondly, the children, young children are also prone to this type of disease. Okay, so there is a definition according to WHO. What is this? Anemia or deficiency should be considered to exist when hemoglobin is below 13 gram per deciliter in adult females, 11 gram per deciliter in pregnant women and children from 6 months to 6 years, and below 12 gram per deciliter in children 6 to 14 years. So this is the criteria by the WHO that was selected in the 1968 definition, that if we have to say that that specific person, either female or the child, either male or the female, is suffering from any type of is suffering from the anemia, then what should be the main guidelines, or the what should be the criterion measure that we will say that that specific person is anemic. So this is how we can assess that if the hemoglobin level is 13 gram per deciliter in adult male, below 13 gram per deciliter, then they can be anemic. 12 gram per deciliter in less than 12 gram per deciliter in adult females, and 11 gram per deciliter in pregnant women and children from 6 months to 6 years, and 12 gram per deciliter in children up to 6 to 14 years. So this is the criterion measure by which we can say that rather a specific person, child or female or the male, is having the condition of anemia or not. Okay, so that was for the definition. Next is the magnitude of the problem. So nutritional anemia is a worldwide problem, as we already know. There are lakhs of cases that occur annually in different types of countries, like India, for example. Most of the cases comes from the people who fall in the range of the below poverty line. Okay, because they cannot even manage to have three times the meal for the three times. So that is the big reason. We can say that the poverty is the big reason in India. That is one of the main factors that why a number of persons or the people in the community are suffering from this disease. There are lack of cases, okay, in India, more so in the developing countries, including India, and globally 3.6 billion people are suffering from anemia. That is a huge number of people, 3.6 billion. Okay, and in India, females 15 to 49 years and children 6 to 35 months are the most affected group, in which 50% are the pregnant women, 72.6% are the adolescent girls, have iron deficiency anemia, and incidence of anemia in children group up to 3 years in urban areas is 72.7% and 81.2% in rural areas. So this is the stat related with the magnitude of this problem of the anemia. So near about 3.6 billion is the average number of people who are suffering from the anemia. Okay. Next, I will explain you about the what are the main factors that cause or that are causing or that are responsible for the what are the main factors that are the main causes for this type of disease. Factors causing iron deficiency anemia. We are specifically taking the iron deficiency anemia. So first, what factor is the first one is the decreased intake. Okay, which may occur due to diet poor in iron content, that is cereals or the pulses based diet, lack of leafy vegetable, poverty, and inability to eat animal food. These are some of the reasons. Like that, if our diet is having iron missing in that either as a any type of nutrient, we can say that the food which we are taking and that is not having the sufficient amount of iron in it, then the person can suffer from anemia. Second thing is the increased demand of the iron during pregnancy and infections. So as I have already explained that the pregnant women and the persons who are suffering from other conditions are at the risk of having are at the risk of having anemia because there is the increased demand in the body, and the HP level is not up to the extent of the mark that it can supply blood to the whole body. So the condition of the anemia, uh, the patient or the person have to suffer from the condition of anemia. Next is excessive loss of iron among women from hemorrhage such as menorrhagia, menstruation, antenatal or the postpartum hemorrhage, and ulcerative colitis, etc. And accidents where excessive hemorrhage occurs leads to anemia. So this is also one of the factors. Most of the females who are having the uh, we can say that the normal cycle of the menstruation, they are at the risk of having uh, the condition of anemia because there is a blood loss during the menstruation cycle, and after that in the postpartum hemorrhage, this situation can also lead to the anemia. And if any type of accident, person is suffering from the any type of condition that was having a accident and there was a bleeding, so excessive bleeding, and that condition also can result in the condition of anemia. Next is the worm infestation like the malaria and persistent diarrhea can also cause anemia. And last one is the social factors such as poverty, causing poor purchasing power makes individual to eat poorly and inadequately. This is the point which I was talking about, that the poverty is one of the biggest reasons in India, that why people in India are getting more prone to this disease of anemia, because they can't even manage to have uh, uh, they can't even manage to have the 3 meals a day. So they have to skip because they can afford that type of diet that would be rich in iron or any other type of macro as well as micronutrient. Malnutrition can also be a major cause for this type of disease. Okay, so one more, uh, I would say there is a factor like the gender inequality. That is also the one of the factors that can be a leading cause for anemia, because in India we are having some of the cultural beliefs, and I would say that these are not the true beliefs. These are the false beliefs, and there is a gender discrimination between the boys and the girls. The boys can eat or have their regular meals, but females are discriminated on the basis of the diet also. So females are generally neglected, eat less, and after feeding the family, and the girls being denied adequate protein-rich foods. Large families ignorance following certain rituals and food fads all are related with the poor quantity. And in the end, because of these reasons, the girls in India mostly they suffer from anemia because of these type of, I would say, the idiot beliefs and the misconceptions, okay, or the discrimination is the main cause for uh, this type of disease. Okay, so I'm getting comment from Gagan Khan. Thank you very much. Commenting in Punjabi. Thank you very much. So it's really an honor uh, whenever I get some of the comments. So thank you very much. Next is the harmful effects of anemia. What are the various harmful effects of anemia? So first of all is the decreased work capacity due to fatigue. Okay, decreased output and increased accidents in the industry. With decreased output, economy is also affected and poverty occurs. Okay, so decreased work capacity. So I would say the first and the foremost sign of the anemia is fatigue. Okay, so sometimes fatigue is unexplained, like we haven't done any type of hard work, but still our body is in the condition of fatigue, or the body is feeling some of the, like, the restlessness is there. So that can be also a sign of the anemia. Okay, next is anemia during pregnancy may cause stillbirth. That is, we can say that the congenital, that when the fetus was growing and there was a deficiency of iron in the pregnant woman, that can lead to these types of conditions like stillbirth, abortion, hemorrhage, and increased maternal and fetal mortality and morbidity. So, and uh, other types of condition like anemic mothers, newborn babies are usually low birth weight babies. So it is normally seen that the babies of the anemic mothers are usually the having the low birth weight or extremely low birth weight, or sometimes death may occur due to the extremely low birth weight. Okay. Next is growth retardation among children occurs where both physical and mental development are affected. So uh, this is obvious that when there is deficiency of some of the macro or micronutrients in the body of the pregnant woman, so that can directly affect the physical and the mental development of the fetus. Okay. Next is anemia lowers the resistance to fight infections. Okay, and anemic women are liable to suffer from sepsis after delivery. That is a major harmful effect of anemia. If the pregnant woman is anemic, so its immunity power will be low, and in the postpartum stage, in the postnatal stage, the woman may suffer or can be at the risk of having various types of infectious diseases or the infections. So that was about the harmful effects of anemia. Next is about the clinical features. There are different types of clinical features by which we can clarify or assess that whether a person is suffering from anemia or not. What are these clinical features? First of all is the pallor of the skin, conjunctiva, and the pale tongue. Pale uh, color, we can say that the body is having the pale color when there is the condition of anemia. Hair becomes dry and lustrous, and nails become spoon shaped. So that is the uh, main sign or the clinical features by which we can assess, or we can make an idea that this condition might be anemia. Okay. Next is puffiness of the face is there, edematous feet due to hypoproteinemia, and breathlessness and dyspnea is there, and rapid pulse, BP lower than the normal, and ascites is there, anorexia is there. That is feeling of the that there is a feeling that something is not right in the body. Okay, and next is HP level less than 13 gram per deciliter in adult males is there if the condition is anemia, and less than 12 gram per deciliter in adult females, less than 11 gram per deciliter in pregnant women and children 6 months to 6 years, and less than 12 gram per deciliter in children 6 to 14 years. Okay, so these were some of the clinical features of the anemia. Next, that was about the introduction, definition, and the magnitude and the factors affecting uh, that are the main causative factors and harmful effects on the clinical features. Next, I will explain you about that what is the how we can prevent and control anemia and what is the role of nurse. Okay, so this is divided in the three parts. First is the primary prevention, second is the secondary, and third one is the tertiary prevention. So let's start with the primary prevention. It is also again divided into two parts, that is health promotion and specific protection. So first of all, I will explain you about the health promotion. So the measures in this include, in the health promotion is how would we promote the health promotion, how would we do the health promotion so that we can prevent ourselves from anemia. First of all is advising people to eat healthy and well balanced diet. This is the most and the appropriate prevention technique, I would say, for any type of person, right, regardless of the age or the gender, that take a well balanced diet. So not just the diet enriched in the iron or the folic acid, but also it should contain all the macro as well as micronutrients in the required amounts that is required by the body. Okay, so all of us have to take a well balanced diet so that a long term measure, it would act as a long term measure, preventive measure, and it will prevent yourself in the lifetime from the condition of anemia. Okay, and fast foods and junk foods should be avoided, and health education should be given particularly to the pregnant women to eat green leafy vegetables. So these are some of the sources from which we can take iron, like the leafy vegetables, sprouted pulses, jaggery, legumes, nuts, whole cereals, and dry fruits. And if non-vegetarian person is there, so they can include liver, meat, poultry, and fish. So this is how we can promote our health uh, as compared to the, or if we have to prevent ourselves from the condition of anemia. Second is people should be advised not to take tea, eggs, and milk at least or an hour before taking iron tablets. Okay, so vitamin C has to be taken along with the iron tablet because it can enhance the absorption of the iron in the body. That can be beneficial. Third is pregnant women and children should be advised to have deworming if suspected of infestation, and people should maintain and promote personal and environmental hygiene. That is also important, that you have to maintain personal and environmental hygiene and use sanitary latrines to prevent soil pollution and prevent worm infestation. Worm infestation is also a big problem, and that can also affect the body of the, mostly in the children. This is the one of the condition of the worm infestation is present that can uh, make a child anemic. Okay, so the parents has to be aware that this condition can also happen, and that can also lead to the condition of anemia. So we have to take the preventive precautions or the various types of preventive measures. Last is changing dietary habits through nutritional education. So being as a community health nurse, you have to advise to each member of the society that what type of diet should be taken. As I have already explained, a well balanced diet should be taken. What are the sources of the good iron rich foods? So next is the specific protection. How would we do the specific protection? First of all, is the people should be advised to protect against malaria by using insecticide-treated bed nets and to use mosquito repellents to protect from mosquito bites. So, in the factors, we have already studied that malaria is one of the conditions that can affect or lower your HP level. So we have to prevent ourselves from the malaria so that we can, or we don't have to suffer from the this condition. Next, under the ICDS, that is Integrated Child Development Scheme or service, supplementary nutrition is provided to the pregnant and lactating mothers through the Anganwadis and the Anganwadi workers. Children below 6 years and adolescent girls between 11 to 18 years for 300 days in a year. So that type of supplementary nutrition is provided by the government through the Anganwadis. That is very beneficial for the children and the mothers. That is either the pregnant woman or the pregnant lady or the lactating woman. Okay, so that is very beneficial and that prevents the mother and the child from the anemic conditions. Next, under the National Nutrition and Anemia Prophylaxis Program, daily supplementation with iron folic acid tablets is advised if hemoglobin level is 10 to 12 gram, and if it is less than 10 gram, then anemia is severe and patient should be immediately referred to the nearly primary health centers. Okay, so that is the criterion measure. So next, I'm going to explain you about the what are the various types of beneficiaries that get help from the National Nutrition and Anemia Prophylaxis Program. What is the dosage? And there are some of the remarks that is that are under this condition. Next, first is the beneficiary is the mother, that is pregnant woman, lactating woman, and IUD acceptors all are included in mothers. Dosage is 100 milligram of elemental iron, that is 300 milligram of the ferrous sulfate, and 0.5 milligram of folic acid daily for 2 to 3 months. Okay, and it is necessary to check the hemoglobin level after 3 to 4 months to assess the condition that is iron helping that woman or the mother in any type is it effective or the HP level is in now in normal condition or not. Okay, next is children. If anemia is suspected, a screening test for anemia may be done on infants 6 months and 1 and 2 years of age. And if the child is between 6 to 60 months old children, parasulfate is to be provided and the folic acid liquid formulation containing 20 milligram of the elemental iron and 0.1 milligram of the folic acid daily for 100 days is given. And last one is the liquid formulation in the remarks should be dispensed in bottles so designed that only 1 ml can be dispensed each time. So we have to uh, take care that the adequate amount should be administered to the child. Next is school children 6 to 10 years. What is the dosage? 30 milligram of the elemental iron and 250 microgram folic acid daily or 100 days for 100 days. Last one is the adolescent girls, and the dosage for the adolescent girls is same as for the adults. Okay. So one more thing included under the secondary prevention, the primary prevention under the protection measure is iron fortification. Okay, so how would we fortify the iron in other type of the eatables? So for this, the government of India has made a policy that has accepted the fortification of salt because salt is that item in the food that is eaten it is eaten every time in the different eatables or the food items which we take in a 3 times meal. So salt has to be fortified. The government has fortified the salt and enriched that in iron so that directly the condition of the anemia should be prevented in the people or the community members. Okay, so that was all about the primary prevention. Next is the secondary prevention. So it is classified under two headings like early diagnosis and treatment. So in the early diagnosis, we already know we have to identify the cases, and identified cases should be checked for the clinical symptoms of anemia. Okay. And how would we treat anemia? So treatment is same like we have studied in the table that I have shown to you. So treatment of anemia, this includes the administration of the iron combined with the treatment of any underlying cause, such as deworming or worm infestation. Treatment of infection should be done if any controlling hemorrhage, such as in hemorrhoids and urinary ulcer. So we have to control the hemorrhage and we have to prevent the or treat the infection firstly. So if we want to prevent the cases of anemia. Next is inclusion of protein-rich food or diet should be encouraged. Next one is there are 2 points written here. First, if anemia is severe, less than 10 gram per deciliter, high doses of iron or blood transfusion may be necessary. Okay, because less than 10 gram per deciliter, that uh, uh, reflects that the condition is severe and we have to transfuse the blood sometimes. So it should be immediately, the patient should be immediately admitted to the either the PSC or the CSC, and the blood transfusion should be there. And women with less than 10 gram per deciliter HP and preschool children with less than 8 gram per deciliter are to be put on active anti-anemia treatment in the PSC or CSC hospital. Okay, and women in the reproductive age group, they should be given 100 milligram of the elemental iron, 50 microgram of the folic acid twice for 100 days. Okay, and last one is that was about the secondary prevention. Last one is the tertiary prevention. So it is classified under the two headings as you can see. First is the disability limitation. Okay, so disability limitation is, first of all, we have to limit the disability. That is the meaning of the rehabilitation. All cases with HP level lower than 7 milligram per deciliter should be referred to the hospital, PSC, medical officers by the health workers for proper diagnosis and treatment. And health workers should identify such individual on the basis of clinical signs and symptoms. So we have to do the various types of tests, and if found that the HP level is lower than 7 gram per deciliter, so immediately we have to manage that condition. And HP testing is not recommended at the field level, but patient with cardiac failure, breathlessness need to be treated for these conditions. Okay, so we have the condition, the we have to provide the services like we have to maintain the conditions. If the person is facing the any type of cardiac failure or breathlessness, we have to do the uh, provide the basic care. Okay, and they need blood transfusion and intensive treatment in the hospital, and we have to provide that also. Okay, last one is the rehabilitation, aims at restoration of the physical, social, and economical functions of the patient. If the anemia was severe and we are managing, or we have to again normalize the functioning of the body of the specific patient, so we have to do the rehabilitation so they can live with their limitations, if any. With treatment, anemic patients usually recover. So if we have provided the adequate treatment facilities, or the treatment or the care was very effective, so the patients usually recover from anemia. Nurse can help the patient to restore certain physical functions by teaching them exercise and refer them to the hospital. And if the patient feels any type of physical discomfort, so the nurse can teach him or her with various types of exercises, so that the patient can feel comfortable or the rehabilitation can be done. Okay, so that was all about the today's topic, that was anemia. So I hope you get all that what I have explained today. So if you are having any problem in that topic, so you can message me so that I can reply you in the next video. Okay. So next, I request you that you must subscribe to my channel, and the channel one channel is on my name, that is Arstip Singh. You must subscribe and tick or click on the bell icon, that will give you all the notification whenever I will upload a video. And secondly, uh, the you must also subscribe to our institute's channel, that is Mira Nursing College, and you have to follow the same guidelines, that you should click on the bell icon and click on the all notification button, so that you can get the latest update on the videos. So one thing I want to tell you that we are having near about 125 videos on different topics of the nursing uh, subjects, okay, by the different teachers, me and my team. And so you must follow that, and you will get very beneficial videos. Like some of them are based on the theory, and some of them are uh, based on the practical topics, like that would benefit you in the practicals. So I suggest you that you must subscribe to all these channels. We are also on the Facebook. Mira Medical Institute of Nursing and Hospital, Abohor is the name of the page. So you must also follow that for the latest videos. Okay. Thank you, everyone. We will meet in next week with a new topic. Thank you, everyone.